right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. You know, Jim George was just here. We were talking about gadgets and technology. And, I mean, it seems like most of the time when we talk about those things, it's got something to do with entertainment or communication. But technology often has helped us also with prosthetics. You might have an artificial leg or an artificial body part of somewhere else on your body that is way different than the counterpart might have been 40 years ago. Back then, I guess it was simply just something to help you get through. Sometimes technology is playing a part. I don't know if that's what we're going to focus on today, but I do know this, that the guy who would know the answer to it is in the studio. This is actually a new segment. It's called In Step With You. Brendan Irwin is in the studio. Brendan is a certified prosthetist orthotist. Am I saying that right? Licensed?
Pretty close.
Almost have that right, huh?
Prosthetist, orthotist.
Prosthetist, orthotist. I got to learn how to pronounce the words. And so we're going to find out what you do and how you can help us. And you brought with you Dr. Robert Hampton. You're both veterans, by the way, right? Yes. Correct? Brendan, you're a Marine?
Yes, sir.
And Dr. Hampton, you're with the Air Force?
Yes.
Well, nice to meet both of you. And then you brought a beautiful golden retriever. Is that what that is?
My assistant. Yes,
your
that's
assistant.
Dante.
I'm so sorry. I can't ignore the dog. I'm so sorry. But anyway, thank you both for coming in here.
Yeah.
So,
Glad to be here.
Dr. Hampton, you have an artificial leg?
Yes, I have a right below the knee prosthetic. I've been an amputee for about 10 years now.
Is that right? What happened? Can I ask?
Diabetes.
Really?
Diabetes, got an infection in my heel, never healed.
Oh, wow.
Fought it for a year and then decided that I would be better off with a prosthetic than with what was left of my foot.
How's your diabetes now? You okay?
Oh, it's under control, but it's a disease that changes your life the moment you get it. My brother was a diabetic as well, and he used to get furious. He said, "Well, you can have a normal life as a diabetic." He says, "That's crap. You can't have a normal life. You can have a good life, but you're not normal. You're watching your sugars all the time."
Brendan, do you do you fit Dr. Hampton with the prosthetic he's got on? And is it once you get it, you have it for the rest of your life?
Well, sure. How long ago was your amputation?
About 10 years ago.
About 10 years. So, I mean, obviously the limb's not growing back. So we develop real strong relationships with these people. One of the things I tell most of the people is we're going to get to be good friends because from the moment of that amputation, once they're fully healed, we'll spend a lot of time with them, especially in the beginning. But then, kind of like you go to your dentist a couple times a year, we'll follow up with them multiple times a year, make sure they have the supplies they need, that they're being well taken care of. So yeah, we definitely do a lot of follow up.
Is it expensive?
It is. However, all insurances will cover, prosthetic and orthotic care. Yes.
Do they like? I went out on a limb, not to make a pun here, but in the opening, I went out on a limb to suggest that technology has made them better.
Yes.
I actually only assume that. I don't know that. Is that true?
Yeah, and Dr. Hampton can kind of speak to some of the changes that he's seen.
I started out with a very basic standard prosthetic, and I had trouble with activity. I like to hike and camp, and prosthetics are great on level, even surfaces because originally there was no ankle motion. So when you step up on an incline, your knee tries to bend backwards.
Oh my goodness!
Hurts like all get up. For instance, the handicap ramps that everybody thinks are so great, they're great for wheelchairs, and I think everybody should have them, but they're murder for people with prosthetics because they make you want to hyperextend your knee.
Do you need to use them, or can you use stairs?
I use stairs all the time.
Okay.
I prefer stairs to the ramps.
Stairs with a handrail, I'm imagining.
Oh, yes. But they're much more comfortable to an amputee with a prosthetic than a ramp is. When I'm in a wheelchair, a ramp is a godsend. It's the only way I can get up. But it's the leg I'm currently wearing is a computerized system that deals with what they call elevated vacuum. That is, it keeps a constant vacuum between the socket and my stump.
And is this a new one for you? How long have you had this one?
I've had this one for about 8 months now.
So it made a big difference as far as how you can get around?
Yeah.
Yes. It's enabled me to exercise much more without damaging the stump. And it's particularly important with a diabetic because I also have poor sensation in my stump. And I can come up with a blister and not know it until I take the prosthetic
Oh
off.
my goodness. Okay.
And then you've got a situation where you may have to be without the prosthetic.
So when you
for
take
a
it
while.
off, like when you go to bed, is it like this really great feeling, like when we take off our shoes at the end of the day? Is it,
Or brassiere.
yeah, or brassiere? I wouldn't know, but
Actually, strangely enough, I'm more comfortable with it on
oh
than I
really?
am with it off.
Really?
Because after a while, yeah, the stump gets a little sticky. I mean, it's sitting in there in a silicone liner for 12 hours out of the day, 18. It's kind of like when you take your shoes off, you may not want anybody else in the room. You may want a can of air freshener.
Brenda, you know what I was just thinking about is the ladies, and forgive me, Dr. Hampton, for assuming that you don't have any concern about looks. But but women do. I mean, typically. So do you? I mean, do you never wear shorts? Like you don't. Like I see people here in the mall walking with prosthetics, and they've got shorts on, and it's clearly a prosthetic.
It's only because of the cooler weather that I'm wearing slacks today. Normally, I'm in
Okay, so you
shorts all
don't
the
really
time.
care that people see it.
Oh no, I used to before I had. My current prosthetic has a sheath over it, so you can't see the socket. But I used to routinely have a Celtic Tree of Life design on my sockets. A big multicolored design, took the whole socket. Because I'm an amputee. They're never going to make anything that looks like my leg. I've actually had a cosmetic leg. It was a joke. But
Okay.
I'm not ashamed of being an amputee.
But Brendan, I wanted to tell you something. I was watching one of those TED Talks, and one of the ladies who lost her leg in the Boston bombing was on there. And she was one of the dancers from Dancing with the Stars. And I couldn't even tell that she had a fake leg.
Yeah.
And it looked like she was doing pretty good with using it too.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, everyone has different expectations, and for some folks, like Dr. Hampton, they're comfortable and have no issue with just wearing the prosthesis without any type of protective cosmetic cover. Some, that's real important to them, and we can certainly address those people that want some sort of cosmetic cover. And there are ways to do that make it look awfully close to what the other leg looks like, but many folks don't opt for that. They're comfortable with how the prosthesis looks, and but that's definitely something we could do. I did want to just touch briefly. You asked about technology, and he addressed the elevated vacuum, which is not entirely new, but it's gaining a lot more acceptance now by insurance companies. But he did mention the ramp. One of the advances is in the technology in the feet, and what we've been doing with more and more of our patients at Mid-Florida is utilizing some of the hydraulic and pneumatic ankles that make something like a ramp, which was much more difficult in the past, become much easier for individuals to navigate. And not just ramps, but just being out in your backyard, walking along the grass, maybe the transition from the grass to the driveway, or maybe you're navigating a curb. So the technology is always changing, it's always improving, and
Yeah, in fact, I have a hydraulic ankle on this setup.
do you?
It's a hydraulic.
Yep.
That's
So
why
you
we
noticed a
changed.
big change there.
That's why we changed to the Smart Puck. The older system I had, which was also elevated vacuum, which was just a manual pump, had a fixed ankle, and you couldn't get anything else for it.
Oh, really?
This one, you can pick whatever ankle you want to go with the socket system. So we came up with a hydraulic ankle to deal with my problems of uneven ground.
And
And
how about children, because they grow and they need to
Yeah.
have they need to have advancements as they grow.
Sure, and unfortunately, the advances are slightly lagging with the pediatric population because there's just not as many as a an overall population of people that require health care. Those folks that have had amputations make up a pretty small sliver, and so and there is a lot of money and resource that's needed for R&D. And so sometimes that technology is a little bit slow in coming to the pediatric population. But with kids, probably one of the biggest challenges is just the fact they do grow so quick. And whereas an adult who doesn't have any issues with their prosthesis, you might get 2, 3, 4, 5 years plus of a leg. For most kids, if you get a year, that's good. And so you're always having to adapt and change.
Brendan and Doctor, we have a phone call coming in, and if you can hear me in your headset, then you should be able to hear the caller.
Okay.
Good morning. You're on the air. Thank you for calling and for waiting.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Robin. Occasionally on the news, I see reports where students at a school will use 3D printers to produce prosthetic hands and such at an extremely reduced cost. Is there anything in Marion County, any student groups that are doing anything like this? And I'll hang up and get the answer.
Yeah, that's true. I've heard that too.
I'm not aware of anything in Marion County. A lot of the 3D technology is definitely an exciting thing that people in our field are taking an interest in. It does take some time, of course, that to filter down to the level where we could use it for the general population we have coming through our doors. But as far as Marion County, I'm not aware of anything that's going on here. Yeah, unfortunately, but that's something. If we can figure out ways to reduce costs, of course, we're always looking to do that.
As bad as it is to lose a leg, I'm guessing it's worse to lose an arm or a hand. Am I right? Is that prosthetic more?
Yeah, it's an interesting question.
Involved? I don't know.
The majority of folks that do have amputations of their hands and arms, many of them learn to compensate without a prosthetic device.
Oh, really?
It's if you've lost a leg, of course, the only way you're getting around is to replace that with the prosthesis. And whereas those folks that have lost an arm, oftentimes they will compensate and they'll figure out a way to adapt. And so you don't see as many, although we still do that as well. And we have a prosthetist that's certified in upper extremity, amputees, Damian Bonagura, but you don't see those as often.
I worked with a physician actually who was a right below the elbow amputee.
Really?
And he used the standard double hook mechanism where you can clamp with it, but he did all of his work with his left hand.
Oh, my.
And he'd been right-handed. He learned to write with his left hand.
Well, you mentioned that you've got a hand issue, even though it's your hand, but
Right.
you can't use it completely.
Right. I have a peripheral nerve disease called Charcot-Marie Tooth. It's an inherited disease.
Is it both hands or just one?
It's both hands and both legs, actually. It strikes all the peripheral nerves. I wear a brace on my left leg that had to be customized because I tend to break things that aren't heavily built. I'm very active. And it was, I have what's called foot drop, meaning as I walk, my left foot will just hang down loosely and I'll fall. So I need a brace to hold my foot up while I walk. I joke right now, I'm not sure which is my good leg, whether the prosthetic or my biologic leg is the good leg anymore. My prosthetic gives me a lot less trouble than the biological leg does.
Is that right?
Have you had any issues with hips? Because for hip replacement, was that necessary at all?
Nope, my hips, the rest of me's doing okay. It's just from the knees and elbows down, I'm pretty well shot.
Oh, no. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back. It's a brand new show. I'll find out how often Brendan is going to do this. The show is called In Step With You, and Brendan Irwin is here to answer questions. He is from... Is it Mid-Florida Prosthetics? Is that the name?
Yes, sir.
Mid-Florida Prosthetics. And we'll give you that information as well. Maybe you know somebody who will benefit from not only this interview, but just from making a phone call over there. So we'll take a little break and get more information when we come back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Mostly cloudy today and becoming windy with a few showers, high 73 to 77. Mostly cloudy and breezy. On the coast, the overnight low in the upper 50s, while inland, upper 60s along the coast. For tomorrow, clouds and breaks of sun with a gusty wind and a passing shower, high 75 to 79. Sunday, mostly cloudy and breezy with a shower, high 76 to 80. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
We're saving thousands with Robert Palmer.
So rule number one is always shop around. Always shop around. If you're trying to get a mortgage, if you're trying to get the best credit card, if you're looking at student loans, cell phone bills, you name it, rule number one is always shop around. Always shop around.
That's rule number one, just one more vital part of fighting back to stop being a financial zombie. Yes, you can take the mystery out of the complicated world of finances. Take charge when it comes to your money. Listen in on The Source, 96.3 FM and 1370 AM, Saturdays at 12:05.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
It's normal to wonder if the previous tenant still has keys, but ask the landlord because they might have already changed the locks. And if you send an email late in the day, set a good example by sending it with something like, "I look forward to hearing from you tomorrow." That way the recipient won't feel pressured to answer you now. Please go for a steam before your workout. It'll loosen up your muscles. Make sure you drink a tall glass of water before going from the steam room to the gym floor for your workout.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Stay informed on everything going on in the villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
All right, 9 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. This is a fascinating visit that we're having right now. So I'm looking forward to other shows in the future. We'll find out. Let's find out about the shows. It's called In Step With You. Brendan Irwin is your host. He is a, pronounce it again, certified prosthetist, orthotist?
You got it.
I got it that time.
You gotta be
Prosthetist,
careful how you
orthotist.
Third
pronounce
time's the
that
charm.
word.
Okay. So what's the show? What's your plan for the show?
Well, we want to talk a little bit about, our company, Mid-Florida, what we do and how we can serve the community. We service a wide variety of patients. We do a lot of work with veterans. Dr. Hampton obviously is a veteran. I'm a veteran, and we go up to the Gainesville VA. We're in at the down in the villages and here in Ocala. So we have a lot of veterans that come through the door. We're also in the schools. Myself and one of our other practitioners works a lot with the pediatric population. There's another facility here in town that has a lot of kids with high needs.
You could be an actor, by the way. Isn't he a good-looking guy?
I think so.
I mean, look at his eyes. He's got the best eyes. I bet ladies love your eyes, don't they? You don't want to say that.
Yeah. So we, you threw me off now. Here.
Couldn't he be an actor? Look at him. He's got that actor look going on.
I'll take a drink of water here.
What's that? Is that your family on your water bottle? What is that?
These are, I have 5 of my 6 kids.
Is that right?
So
Wow.
the last one was born last Christmas, so he didn't make that.
Oh,
picture.
he didn't make the bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to get a new bottle.
Yeah, we got to get it updated. But yeah, we take care of a wide variety of patients. We're in the trauma. Serving the trauma unit over there at Ocala Regional. We're in all the skilled nursing facilities. So, what I tell people oftentimes is we're like the fire department. When you don't know who to call us. We do a lot of custom work. Anyone with any type of mobility difficulty, someone that's, if they're an amputee and they're not happy with how things are progressing their therapy, certainly we'd love the opportunity to take care of them.
In addition to arms and legs, anything else that is prosthetic? Breasts, for example?
We don't do that. We don't do that. There are some, facilities here in town, I think, that do that. Unfortunately, I don't even know who it is, but I think there's a couple that do that here in Marion County. But no, our focus is on the legs and arms, and then orthotically any type of brace you need.
So like an external device, that kind of things.
Yep. People with back pain, knee pain that require an unloader brace because of severe arthritis in their knee. Folks that have suffered a stroke and have weakness, maybe they have MS, Charcot-Marie tooth. So there's a wide variety of conditions that may be affecting their ability to perform their activities of daily living, just getting up and cooking and shopping and take care of the house. So we can help with a lot of those things in conjunction with physical therapy and and those fields as well.
And should people come see you before they get those back braces, because we see them walk by the window all the time? They'll walk into the mall, they have these thick pads on, and should they Is it bad to self-diagnose? Should they see you first before they get something like that?
Well, we wouldn't diagnose. Now, we'd be happy to see anyone that wanted to come in just for a consult. But what they want to do is really begin probably with their primary care physician, maybe an orthopedic or a vascular doc if there's. So you'd probably want to start with your primary care doctor first in terms of diagnosing the need. But we're happy to see anyone offer maybe a free consult that they can take back to that physician.
I would say that for people facing an amputation, see a prosthetist first. Not before you decide to have the amputation, but before the amputation is done. I actually saw a prosthetist before I had my leg amputated.
That can make a big difference. Yeah.
Because they can help guide your rehabilitation.
Is there a psychological part of that?
I think there's a psychological part to it. I was fortunate. I had actually worked with a physician's assistant who was an amputee. So I had no preconceptions about how I was going to be disabled after I had my amputation. In fact, I was in the gym working out a while back, and I had my older service.
Which leg is it for you? Your right?
My right.
So does that affect your driving?
Nope. Well, it does. I probably would no longer handle a stick shift very well. I would have trouble
making... So you can move your foot swiftly from the accelerator to the brake pedal?
Nope. I drive with one foot on the brake pedal and one foot on the accelerator.
You do?
Yeah, that's why I...
Oh, you're that guy.
Yeah. Well,
I'm behind you a lot.
Not one foot actually on the brake pedal, but my left leg manages the brake and my right leg manages the gas.
Wow.
I used to love sports cars, but I just have a feeling that making the quick shuttle from pedal to pedal would not be easy anymore because I actually use my knee and upper leg to run the accelerator because I have no ankle motion. So it's all done by moving the entire lower leg up and down.
Yeah.
But
But I mean, you can actually vary it because when you're riding it, like my dad told me when I was first learning how to drive, it's like you're trying to break an egg with your foot. You have to do it very gently. So you can do that.
Sure. Sure. You can learn to do that. Most of the amputees I know do not have special equipment on their vehicles. You can, and if you have real trouble with it, you can obviously get hand controls for the vehicle.
You seem so okay with it. You've accepted it. It's part of you.
I had a very good experience, and part of that was I'd fought for a year to save my foot. And then I made the decision, not the doctor. I actually looked at it and said, my foot's no longer worth saving. It's sufficiently damaged that it will never be able to support the level of activity I want. And so I called my doctor and said, cancel the graft we had planned and schedule an amputation before Christmas. I want it done and out before my daughter comes home for Christmas break. And he had no problem with that at all. It gives you a different psychological benefit than, say, waking up after an automobile accident and discovering that a leg's gone.
Oh.
I bet.
That's a horribly traumatic experience.
Brendan, you have that experience. Do you have to, in a way, have that psychological bedside manner thing?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was in prosthetic school, one of the prerequisites to get in was a course in psychology, and I thought that was odd at the time, but I definitely understand how that can come into play. You know, one of the things that Dr. Hampton mentioned is recommending seeing someone like us at Mid-Florida prior. I think that's a great thing for folks to do, and those that do tend to be the ones that really do well afterwards, because it is the great unknown for a lot of folks. It's scary. And I think having that knowledge and understanding, and as I sit down and walk them through the process, and this is what's going to happen, this is the general time frame, this is how we're going to help you, these are the options. Just having that information, I think, eliminates a lot of the fear factor for a lot of folks, and can make things go a lot smoother.
We're at the end. We have less than a minute left. In Step With You is what you've just been listening to. It's a new show here in WOCA. Brendan Irwin is your host, and his special guest today, Dr. Robert Hampton, who has a prosthetic right leg and a beautiful dog, and he's a veteran of the Air Force. Brendan himself.
And a beautiful wife, too, by the way.
Beautiful wife. We saw that. And she has got a beautiful dog, too. And Brendan is also a Marine. So real quickly, Mid-Florida Prosthetics, what's the phone number over there?
The phone number it's area code 352, of course, 351-3207. And call us anytime. We'd be happy to chat with you and see how we can help you out.
And for the listeners, share this video with somebody you know that will benefit from this. That's why we do these videos. It'll be on Facebook by 2 today and on YouTube by 2 as well. Brendan and Dr. Hampton, thank you both.
Thanks for having us.
We'll be right back.
AM 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Joe Chiaro. Employers added 211,000 jobs last month, while the unemployment rate